I'm sure they will buy it. You know, I'm sure that because we don't look at the size tags. I mean, I don't care what size it is. I just love the jacket or the dress or the pants, and I buy it.
Well, and that's a good lead into to why we're here today.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here with Chris Brempel. And we are here at Closet Conversations on iTunes. This is Jennie Walker, and welcome to the show. That little bit that you just heard was Chris Brempel. He is here with me today because he is doing an exhibit based on vintage fashion of Moschino and other brands based on the television show The Nanny. And for those of you who've been waiting for me to interview someone on this podcast, here you go. All the way from Germany is Chris Brempel. Chris, why don't you tell people who you are and what brings you to the LA area?
Okay, thank you, Jenny. Thank you for having me. And so I'm Chris. I am from Germany. I was born in Berlin. And I am the curator of this project called the Nanny Shmatte, which is going to be, as Jenny said, a fashion exhibition based on The Nanny, the 90s hit sitcom, featuring insider anecdotes, props, and of course fashion from, I think, the late 1980s until the 1997 of the greatest designers, including Moschino, Lacroix, Todd Oldham, Donna Karan New York, and so on. I am here in the LA area because I have managed to get in contact with a few people who are really important to this project, including you and Miss Brenda Cooper, the Emmy Award-winning stylist for The Nanny, who created this the character style-wise. And I got to meet her and I got to talk to her, and she's an absolute delight to be with, and so that's actually the reason why I'm here. So
you are here in LA having meetings with key people that will help get this project off the ground. So the reason I wanted to pop in when you were in the middle of talking to me offline about why you're doing this and the love of Moschino is that's really the place I want people to go to with this. I mean, this is a project born out of pure love and fashion, love of Moschino, love of the character Fran Drescher created in The Nanny that has, been with you over time, and now it's sort of manifesting itself into this amazing concept that you have for this fashion exhibit to be in New York. And so why don't you tell everyone listening a little more about why this is important to you, like what at the heart of what this is about, your passion for this, and kind of where you are today.
Sure. The story behind this project is, I've been a fan of The Nanny ever since it aired in Germany. That was in 1996, I guess. I was about 7 years old. And, it was just, it was different. It was different clothing-wise. It was different story-wise. And, the characters and everything else that you've seen on TV. It was just different. And it just appealed to me so much. It was just so colorful and witty. And, it was just amazing. And so with the years that I've been watching The Nanny, I was just amazed by how Brenda, by how the costumes looked and how amazing these costumes were. And at the time I didn't know that it was the biggest designers like Moschino, Todd Oldham, and so on. I didn't have any clue. So when I got older and I had the internet, because I grew up in a time where it was non-existing.
Right.
so when it came and I got to like, do research online because I was born in the GDR and the wall came down 3 months after I was born, but still I was in that part of the world. I didn't have any connections to America, like Hollywood, or, I didn't even have any connections to like the south part of Germany, the western part of Germany. So, and when I did my research, I found out that these clothes were actually not made by the producers or like the costume designer.
Right,
They
not
were
made from
purchased.
scratch. Yeah.
They were like the greatest designers, and so I got into this whole fashion thing. I'm actually not a fashion guy, and I don't put that much effort in like getting to know the fashion industry, but I'm very interested in certain designers. And this project and the Nanny, like this is a very personal thing as well. I've been struggling with a severe depressive disorder like for about 20 years now. It started when I was a kid, and we moved from Berlin to the south of Germany, so away from my family and stuff. And I felt very down, very like a lot of times, and I still do today. Every now and then, this big cloud is following me, and just yeah. Anyway, and there were two things in the world that kept me going, and that brought back the good mood. And it was either listening to Marilyn Manson's music, of whom I'm the biggest fan as well, or watching The Nanny. And when I watched The Nanny, I learned English. I was,
You learned English while watching The Nanny?
While watching The Nanny. I was
Exciting.
when I was about 10 or 11 years old, I got the DVD set for the first season. And I watched it in English for the first time with English subtitles. And every time she said something that was funny and witty, and I paused and wrote it down, and just this is the way this is how I learned English.
Wow.
So it was The Nanny and the Golden Girls, and so yeah, there's like a very personal story to it, and I just wanted to bring the happiness and the joy to the people attending this exhibition that the show brought to me.
Now, you had mentioned to me before the podcast when we were talking that part of what had happened was you had come to LA on a trip and were, I guess, here visiting or on vacation, and were
on vacation.
You were looking to see, because of your love of the show and the passion you have for the Nanny and all of the fashion, to look to see if there was anything here.
Right.
And what were you looking for, and what did you find?
Well, I'm a big fan. I'm very interested in the television and film industry, the production and what goes on behind the scenes. And so I was looking, because I went to the Warner Brothers studios and Universal Studios to see the sound stages and what's going on backstage. And I was looking for Nanny relics, because you can see so many pieces and costumes and sets from from previous productions, and I couldn't find anything from the. I went to the Culver Studios. I called them up and asked for a studio tour because I wanted to go to stage 6 where the Nanny was taped, and they said they don't do these tours, so there was no chance for me to get any to get to see anything from this show. Wow. Let alone any props or costumes that
because it had been taken down, I will assume.
Right.
So much time had passed. They don't archive the set. They basically tear it down and sell all the pieces or store them.
And I just found out that I knew that this was the normal way to do for production companies, but whenever a show ends, they tear down the whole set or reuse it, and they demolish it and then put the pieces in archives, stairs and the props like vases and cups and whatever, and chairs and tables, and they use it for other productions. So I didn't know that before. I kind of knew that this was the deal, but I kind of hope that
there'd be an exception.
I was a bit naive, and I kind of hoped that I would find maybe a piece of set or a piece of prop or whatever. Like,
and you found nothing.
I didn't find anything. No.
And so that got you thinking about
right.
What could be done about that.
Exactly. So I thought, okay, you want to see relics of the show, and you want to see, you want to. I felt like I don't want to watch it. I want to, be a part of it, and somehow. I mean, that sounds like I'm a crazy fan. I am a crazy fan, but I'm not doing this because
a super fan is what we call that. A super fan.
So I thought to myself, why not do it? Why not do it? Like, why not? Yeah.
Why not you?
Why not me?
Exactly.
So why don't I build this exhibition and this kind of little nanny museum that people would so much enjoy? I hope, I guess. I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, I was a big fan. I actually, years ago, I think when I told you, you seemed surprised that I'd never mentioned it, but I went to a taping of the Nanny, a live taping. Years and years ago, I was visiting a friend in Culver City in California, and we went to a Nanny taping. And
I'm so jealous.
Somewhere, I still have the ticket, or I have something from that somewhere in my... Because I'm not a hoarder per se, but I save memorabilia. So somewhere in all of that I had, and I had the Nanny doll, but I sold it years ago. But I was so into her, and because I love fashion. Obviously, if I'm into consignment and reselling and retail, I have always been into it. So people who've inspired me when I was much younger was Fran Drescher on the Nanny, and it's funny now to look back on that. And I just remember those clothes were amazing and bold and wonderful, just like her character. And to go back and look at it now, they're just as relevant. They seem timeless. And for something that loud, that bold, and that wonderful, for it to seem timeless is really interesting, because a lot of these shows really feel dated, but not the Nanny. And I think it's great acting, and obviously Brenda Cooper's great costume design, But if you break down what's happening, she modified these ready-to-wear clothes. One of her famous things was to put a turtleneck under things, right? And it adds a layer. It adds a really cool layer, but it also keeps the Nanny covered up, right? She would wear a lot of fitted vests and, ruffly shirts. And that was a personal style of mine. And I don't know where I got it. Maybe I actually got it from watching the Nanny and don't realize that's where it came from. But when I was younger, I had my uniform was basically wide leg pants or bell bottom pants, a fitted vest, and a long sleeve blouse with ruffles or something like that. But I understand that, and I think that when you think about fashion and you think about consignment and resale, is that, I'll sidestep for a minute, is that where does it all go? There are millions and millions and millions of pieces of things that have already been produced. Amazing pieces like vintage Moschino and Todd Oldham and Lacroix. Where is all this stuff, right? And so to go back and remind ourselves of how great these pieces were, find them, gather them up, and present them back to the world in a context in which kind of brings back their former glory. Because in the consignment and resale business, I'm always fascinated at how something that was, $10,000 on a runway within 6 months of appearing in a retail store goes from $6,000 to half price to the clearance rack to the outlet mall to someone's closet to be recycled 10 years later in a consignment shop to be repurposed and end up somewhere else, right? Mm-hmm. So these amazing pieces of Moschino and that are out there in the world are just waiting to be reappreciated, waiting to be put back in a context where people can really see the excitement of what they are. And I think this exhibit is a great way to do that. And I'm so excited that you're doing it, and hopefully I can be helpful in whatever way I can with my collection of vintage Moschino, which we were having fun playing with just earlier. And we put two of the rarest. We just did a photo. So the cool thing about Moschino and the whole concept of being able to represent this back to the public is the idea of multiples and different sizes, right? So we have two of the rarest jackets known to man by Moschino sitting here, one from Germany, one from here in Pasadena. What is this? The print is called? The
Mondrian.
Mondrian print, and it says love is art.
Right.
So we have two of them right next to each other, hanging together on the rack. It's a beautiful thing. So that just shows you've got two people who really love Moschino, who've gone out of their way to find it and get it.
Appreciate the brand.
Absolutely. And it seems timeless. I mean,
it does.
Now you wore yours. I saw a picture of you with Fran Drescher and wearing that jacket on one of the cruises. Can you talk about this whole Cancer Schmancer cruise and what role that might play in all of this?
Right. That's right. I was wearing this jacket because I wanted to, just pop and just stand out like she did on the show. And so this Cancer Schmancer cabaret cruise, which takes place every year and has been for the past 3 years, it's a charity event curated by the Cancer Schmancer Foundation, which Fran founded a couple of years ago, and she wrote a book which is called Cancer Schmancer as well. And because, like many people know that, I think everyone knows it, that during the taping of the show, or the production of the show between 1993 and 1999, Fran suffered from uterine cancer.
Oh, wow.
And she's a cancer survivor. And so she founded this wonderful foundation to bring awareness to the people, to detox their homes and just live a healthy life and eat organic food, so that you can just reduce the risk of getting cancer in the first place, because detection in an early stage is almost is it curable? And is it? Yeah, it's.
I think I don't know if cancer is. I think cancer is curable.
It is
but you can. You could. Yeah. But is it curable? We know it can be suppressed.
Well,
right?
It can be suppressed,
right.
But it's also I think it's curable.
Okay.
Detected in an early stage.
Okay.
And that's the point of the whole thing. You have to detect it in an early stage, and that's what they teach you, to go to the doctors and because she went to 9 doctors or 8 doctors until she found out, because no one knew what she had and no one could tell her. And you can read it all in the book Cancer Schmancer. And the whole idea is because we want, this is the project is
so this project, you did a whole flyer on this, right?
Yes,
it's beautiful.
We have a website.
Right, you should tell people where that website is real quick. We'll just insert it right now. What is the website for your project?
The website is called thenannysshmatte.com.
Okay.
And there's an Instagram account as well called the Nanny Shmatte.
Okay.
And we have designed some flyers and leaflets, and just to get the word out. And the whole thing is we want to give back to Cancer Schmancer and the public in general, because this show has brought so much joy and happiness to the people out there, and I think it's time that they get something from it. That the people give back, and I want to give back because they helped me, and I talked to Fran about it on the Cancer Schmancer cruise. That unknowingly she was the person that kept me going when I fell down, by watching the Nanny and by her enchanting performance on the show. And I just wanted to give back, and parts of the proceeds from the project and from the exhibition are going straight to Cancer Schmancer so that they could continue with their fantastic mission and maybe reach a wider audience and more people to bring the awareness to.
Now, if people go to your Instagram account, you have lovely teasers up there. You have images of some of the costumes that will definitely be in this exhibit.
Right.
It's just a wonderful reminder. My favorite is the robe. And that's not actually by Moschino, but this robe is just fantastic. And I had forgotten about the robe, and then there it was in your picture.
She's famous, like, she was wearing a lot of robes on the show.
She was, because she was a live-in, yeah.
Yeah, she was like, in the morning when the whole family was dressed like very, in like with the tie and waistcoats and stuff. And she just entered the room in one of her robes and yelled, "Hello, good morning."
Like a grande dame, I'm here.
Yeah, look at me, everybody.
Exactly.
This robe that I have two actually.
Okay.
But the robe that you were talking about is the wedding cake robe, and it's the brand is called Chanel.
Okay.
It's a French brand from the 1940s. So it's a very delicate piece. You can, if you touch it, it's very thin and very very delicate. It's like it. I don't wear it that I've been wearing it. I have.
Of course.
But
why wouldn't you?
I try not to wear it this much because I don't want it to fall apart.
Sure. Okay.
Because it's actually from the 1940s.
I didn't realize that. It's a great piece. It really is. Now, on the Instagram, you have a few little itsy bitsy video clips, and I know you'll be doing a lot more on Instagram, but people can kind of follow along on and see you build this collection and talk with people. Now, tell me what's next. Like, what's the missing piece? Like, where are you in the context of putting this together? Like, kind of where are you, and when can people look for this exhibit to be available for them, and where will it take place?
Well, we are, I've started this project like 2 years ago, and I would have never thought that I would come, would come this far in such a short period of time. And so we are in a state where we have gathered a lot of Moschino and a lot of Chanel and a lot of vintage designers costumes that she wore on air. But what we have in mind is we have about 40 or 50 pieces so far. But I want to, extend it to, maybe 200 to 250 or even 300 pieces because I want people to go in there and spend a lot of time in this exhibition. I don't want it to look like a catalog or like a white plain room with a few mannequins and just the clothes hanging up. I want the people to actually enter the show and have an experience they will never forget, and it will take place in New York. We are advertising the opening date on the internet, and we said it's going to be in September 2019, so this year. We don't know if we can actually open in September because there's a lot of things to do.
Sure.
There's a lot of project management to do in the next few months, and we need more pieces.
Okay.
And we need people who are ready to sponsor and, loan costumes to this exhibition. We have actually been contacted by a few people who have originally worn pieces.
Wow.
They purchased them from this fabulous site, antiquedresses.com.
Okay.
And so all the proceeds from the purchases are going straight to Cancer Schmancer. So there's 2 pieces that were offered to be loaned to this exhibition. And I talked to Brenda, and we have another few pieces that could be shown on display. And yeah, but we actually like currently we're negotiating with sponsors and people who are willing to help and just support this exhibition, because it's going to cost a lot of money, which is okay. I mean, you can't pull something up like that, without...
You need your resources.
Right. And but we've come very far, and I'm very positive and about the progress that it's making.
Well, it sounds great. I mean, you're here in LA. Obviously, you've met with a number of people here.
Yes.
To get this off the ground. Obviously, we've met, and we've had a lot of fun playing with my vintage Moschino collection, and
which is amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I hope so. You never know, but I'm glad to an outsider it looks okay. But
I only have like a hand luggage suitcase with me.
I'm afraid I will wake up and it'll be all gone, and I'll know where to find it. It'd be Chris, where did it all go? But what's really cool is Moschino. When I had put on my own vintage Moschino event at my consignment shop at Walker Viden Luxury Consignment last year, and that's the reason I have so much, was I did my own event, and I have lots of really cool books and pieces. And what's exciting is that some of the stuff I have Chris has not seen before, and some of what he has I have not seen before. And so you have 2 people who are huge fans of vintage Moschino who have come together, and we're just like, 2 kids in a candy store. Like, I love this. What do you think? Oh, I love that. But there's a real, there's a real learning to be had behind the brand itself, which is, when you understand who Franco Moschino was and what he was trying to say with his fashion and his sense of humor and things like that, it really helps you understand why Brenda Cooper, the stylist behind the show, chose that brand as a way to, further express who the Fran Drescher Nanny character was. I mean, and it's there's like deeper meanings in all of this, and so you have the designer's own deeper meanings. You have the costume designer's own personal way of expressing who this character is, which won her an Emmy, by the way. Brenda Cooper is Emmy Award winning for that, and she's done something that is historic, that no one else has done, that I think we've kind of forgotten about. And, you go back and you look at this and you're like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about this. I mean, this is, it's been a number of years since this happened, and you can absolutely see why she was recognized for this. And the things are as relevant today as when they were made. And what's interesting for me as someone who's on the consignment and resale side of things and styling for myself is that a lot of times when celebrities go to a fashion show of like a Moschino or another brand, they will wear the brand, right? And so I was really excited to learn about the power of Instagram, where a stylist found my vintage Moschino and ended up using it on a celebrity who was on the front row right next to Kris Jenner at a Moschino show last year. And they wanted to wear the brand, and the young woman who wore it was Justine Skye, who's a singer. She's like an R&B singer. And it was thrilling for me to be able to provide that pieces of wardrobe, and it was thrilling to now be known for having it, right? And so that really brings life back into the brand as something that I'm doing outside of an exhibit. And now the same power of Instagram, Chris and I are talking, and I can connect these beautiful pieces with something like this exhibit, and hopefully find more people who can appreciate what this is. And we were talking in the clip where I just kind of clipped in, I just started recording because we were just having our own lovely moments, just admiring these pieces and talking about why they're meaningful, and the thought about reinvigorating the life in these clothes through this exhibit. And just by the fact that they're together, I mean, just physically having hundreds of pieces of a brand in one room that are vintage, that are like the best of what the brand did, is pretty extraordinary. And something that, with the help of consignment shops and resale stores and thrift shops and places all around the world and online places, you can actually acquire it again, but it becomes meaningful when it's all together. And I think that's what's so exciting to me about this project. And, how I can be helpful is that literally just putting the clothes together is so powerful. And then the great artistic side is how Chris is going to tell his story through this by picking and choosing which outfits and picking and choosing how they're displayed. And, it's a whole art form just setting up an exhibit. So that's just another layer in this that I know that you're going to just have so much fun with. I mean,
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And the people who will attend too.
I know. And this is the thing with technology now and today, that there's so many ways that people can participate, even if they can't physically be there, that I'm sure you'll come up with ways to connect it all together. But it's really exciting to think that this could take place. Now, do you envision this only being in New York, or do you have bigger visions of what this could be?
No, we would actually like to make this a touring exhibition. So we've had fans from around the world asking if we could come to their country. Since this exhibition has not taken place yet, we just wanted to because the show took place in New York. It was filmed in Los Angeles, but it took place in New York. And so because she is a New York character as well, we wanted to open this exhibition coinciding with Fashion Week in New York. So if things go well, and we can't really say yet, but we are planning to move this exhibition to at least a few cities in North America and probably other countries around the world. Mm-hmm. Because I know that it will be appreciated in any location around the world. Right.
So it sounds to me like one of the things that people can do who are listening and that are fans of the Nanny and who certainly are fans of Moschino or Todd Oldham or Lacroix and just want to kind of follow your progress. It sounds like if they follow you on Instagram, and you can sign up, I think, on your website with an email
to get newsletter,
right, and get a newsletter. Right. That would be like the first step. Now, if people wanted to contact you directly, let's say someone listening knows someone who might be interested in sponsoring, or they might have some vintage pieces they want to contribute or to sell or to let you know about, or maybe they have some ideas. What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, first of all, they can contact me.
Okay, great. Chris is available, everyone.
I am available. No, I'm not someone who shuts doors into people's faces. They can contact us via email and on Instagram. Okay. We will make sure that we reply to any message that we receive, and it may take a while because we get a lot of emails a day, but people can contact us and we will reply, and we will be more than happy if they did. Mm-hmm. So so if you have anything to contribute or know of anyone who can, or just want to get in contact and just get news on the project, feel free to contact us. Do not hesitate. We don't bite. Right. We're here to it's a people's project.
Now, let me ask you this. You put on Instagram that you had met with Brenda Cooper.
Yes.
Who is, once again, the Emmy Award-winning stylist behind the Nanny's look. Is there anything that came out of that might be interesting for people to know about how that might impact the exhibit?
Well, I can't really tell.
It's all a secret.
It's all a secret.
But that's exciting, though.
It is. Well, we've been talking. She reached out to us, and she loves the Instagram account and the project. This is what I can say. This is not a secret. And we've talked about different situations and maybe some collaborations.
Okay.
And so there's gonna be a lot more to see for the Nanny fans.
Excellent.
Not only the fashion that was featured in the show and that's put on display. No, there's going to be more about the show that people are interested in.
That's
you
terrific.
know, background stories and.
She's a wealth of. I've had an opportunity to. I've met Brenda. We've engaged with each other a number of times about different things, and she's full of. She has as much. Who she is as a person, she has as much energy and light as the Nanny character.
Right,
I mean, she's a ball of fire. Yeah, I mean, the fact that she might be able to be supportive of this, I think, is just wonderful in terms of getting all the right players together and having it develop however it's going to develop into something. And it's really exciting because. Again, the Nanny, my understanding is that the Nanny has been in syndication nonstop since it went off air. I mean, around the world, it's still playing. Mm-hmm. And I think that speaks volumes to how wonderful that show was, how wonderful all the acting is. Of course, Fran Drescher and, of course, her character being styled by Brenda. And those fashions continue to live on. And if somebody wanted to go out and buy it, you couldn't, I mean, you can't go into a store and recreate that look right now. But it's nice to think that this can be recreated, parts of it in its own way through this exhibit. Now, what else would you like people to know about this exhibit?
Well, I think I've said, everything that people need to know. I mean,
Excellent.
If they have any questions, as I said, they shouldn't hesitate to contact us. And I'm happy to hear from all of you. And start following, start getting the word out. That's a big favor that I would like to ask. That people not only follow us, but get the word out. So a lot more people can know of this project and support us.
Word of mouth.
Right.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, yeah. Chris, I appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me.
I think I just cut you off. That was not my intention. But I appreciate you being here, and I think it's just wonderful that you're in town and working behind the scenes to get this exhibit all created. And I really wanted to have you as my first guest on my show because, one, I love what you're doing, and two, I love that it's all around vintage Moschino, which is a passion of mine.
Mostly.
And mostly. Yes, mostly, right. You could do an only Moschino, be fine with me, just so you know. But, so I think it's great. And for those of you who are in the reselling and consignment retail business, I think it's a really interesting thing to think about is where everything goes and kind of over time how we can bring these things back to life, whether we're selling them through our shops or online, and putting some context and putting the respect back into the brand basically and into the pieces that were once there. And I think that things like this are a great way to do that. I know it's something that is important to me and makes it's part of what makes me love what I do and as a reseller and consignment store owner is I absolutely adore when people reuse and recycle things and bring them back to life, and that's what we all love to do here. And
I hope that people will appreciate it as much as I appreciate it to do it,
Sure.
So, and we have some people who worked on the Nanny as fans and followers on Instagram, and so this response itself is mind-blowing. It's just, I never thought that this would happen, and I never thought that I could reach so many people with this project. And it's not me. I'm the head curator of this project, but we have a team of 5 people now. And my business partner, Ms. Marina Sacco, she couldn't be here today. She's in Germany because she had to take care of some things. But I just wanted to mention her because without her help, I wouldn't have come that far.
Well, we can see her picture on Instagram, right?
Yes.
She's
featured on the website. That's terrific. You can see the whole team on the website. I wanted to make it as personal as possible, so people, I didn't want it to just, be the project and not for people to see who's behind it. Mm-hmm. So I put everyone in the team on this website so people can learn about us, and I wanted to make it as personal as possible.
Well, I love it. Well, Chris Brempel, all the way here from Germany, I appreciate your time and thank you for sharing your story with the listeners here. This is, once again, Jennie Walker with JennieGirl's Closet, owner of JennieGirl's Closet, a styling and resale business, and co-owner of Walker Viden Luxury Consignment in Pasadena, California. If you like what you've heard today, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not. No, it's not a thumbs up. Wait, it's 5 stars. That's what you do. You give it 5 stars on iTunes. That would be great. Love having you as part of my audience, and I promise you that I am now going to have lots more interviews. I've had people lined up, and I look forward to sharing with them all with you in the future. Until next time, Jennie Walker here with JennieGirl's Closet, and have a great day.